49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, G Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the side.
Hello and welcome everybody. Week 1 is in the books. Meaningful football is back. And as you can see, I'm joined by a rather special guest today. So thank you very much for joining me there.
No problem.
Get on. Right, so it's week 1. We're done. We are one and done. Of course, previously I thought that we were going to lose this game. So I shall expect a merciless ribbing from both El Presidente and the comments this evening. Because frankly, I will deserve it for not having faith enough in our 49ers. But before we get into all of that, how have you been there, Lee?
Yeah, not bad at all. I'm over the moon that the season has now started getting underway. We're now into the exciting part. It's been a long build-up. Obviously, we were all quite downhearted after what happened at the end of last season, and we've been itching to get back. And I think, if I'm honest, I think most 49er fans will have been approaching that game on Sunday night with some trepidation about what we're going to see from Purdy. Not so much is he going to just completely implode and all of a sudden play like a 7th round pick. It's more to do with his health and whether or not he'd be able to throw the ball. So I think we all came away from that quite happy.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair thing to be worried about, because it's not like he had a minor surgery. I mean, he had the partial reconstruction of his elbow joint, and the man's a quarterback. It's a fairly important part of his mechanics, really, the elbow. So they were going up against a decent team in the Steelers as well. I was expecting a lot more than what the Steelers gave us. They were trash. TJ Watt aside, they were trash.
Yeah.
You know, you had Pickens finish last year with Pickett actually doing really quite well. They built up a really good rapport, which just wasn't evident in any way, shape, or form on Sunday. And I was expecting more from Highsmith as well. I think I only really heard his name called throughout the telecast once, and that was about it.
Yeah, do you not think they entered the game a little bit overconfident purely because of pre-season results? Do you not think it could have been a little bit of that? They're playing at home, opening game of the season. They know we've got a right tackle who's playing his very first game at that particular position. They've come off a 3-game pre-season run where they looked unbeatable. They looked a really, really good team. So much so that the likes of Rich Eisen was turning around to say he can very well see the Steelers being in the Super Bowl on that type of form. So I think they've come into the game a little bit overconfident, potentially a little bit cocky, and that's been knocked out of them straight away. And I think that gut punch has lasted for the full 60 minutes.
That's it. I mean, the Niners were on it from point one. They didn't let up that entire first half. They absolutely mullered them. If anything, they took the foot off the gas in the second half and allowed things to start to look a little bit more interesting, more than it really was, to be honest. The game was over by half time.
To be honest, they took the foot off the gas in the second quarter, not the second half.
We destroyed them. What was it? Touchdown, field goal. We were flying. Yeah. Absolutely flying. And it should have been more. We should have finished the half and we should have had points on every single drive. It was just that one mistake obviously led to having to punt it away. But was it about 3 minutes before the first half was over and they were still looking for their first down?
Yeah,
that tells you a lot.
I'm sure it was under 1 minute when they got the first down.
I actually think you were right, yeah.
Yeah, because
it was on that final drive.
That's right, when they had that scoring drive. So obviously they thought they'd get that first down, but there was a flag on the play and it came back. But then they eventually did get the first down. And I think they only had a minute where they went down the field, which is a minute where we kind of stepped off the gas and started playing prevent instead of the way we had been playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the way that final drive went for the defense. It's our first time really defending against a first-team offense against the 2-minute drill. You know, that will get better, hopefully, as the season goes on. We don't want to see more of that happening, especially when you're playing the better teams at the business end of the season.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we're 1-0. And that's all you can ask for after week one. You know, it's the result that counts at the end of the day.
I've got a little bit of a challenge for you. I'm going to ask you to read out one of the comments.
Come on then. Perfect Purdy picks apart Pittsburgh, punishing Patrick Peterson.
Well
Boom.
done. Well done. There's absolutely no way I'm going for that. Gareth was absolutely on fire last night on the podcast, and I couldn't believe he came out with that one. Couldn't believe he even tried coming out with that one. But well done, Nick. Well done.
Not bad for a guy who's got problems with his brain. No, Purdy was fantastic. I mean, we might as well get into it. Let's go with the offense. First thing as you brought it up. Purdy, he just picked up as if it was the divisional round again. He just looked like the man. You got all the slack all over the summer was being massively undeserved, and he's proved it. What did you think?
I thought he made it look effortless. Every time I see him play, he surprises me. There's a few things that I saw there that did actually worry us a little bit, because Patrick Peterson talked about some tells. I'm not going to say it's a tell, but it's just more. He was what's the word? The word's gone. He did the same thing as what he was doing in the likes of the Dolphins game and some of the games when he was escaping pressure. He was doing exactly the same move. He was predictable. Mm-hmm. To me, it was a little bit predictable. When he was being chased down, I knew exactly what he was going to do, the way he was going to get out of that. And if I knew that, everybody else is going to sit and cotton onto that, and they should be able to stop him there. So there's a few things that he might need to change a little bit. I think he had one poor throw, but I'm not sure if it was an arm strength thing where he ended up throwing it into the ground. It wasn't very far at all, but it could have been that he was aiming low as well to make it a safe catch at a low height. But other than that, you just watch the kid, and you just feel so full of confidence, and it's like going back to 2019 when we start the first 10 games unbeaten. You think, it's too good to be true. This, so something's going to come along and smack us in the mouth. And at the moment, I'm still kind of at that phase with Purdy, because I'm thinking, this is just too good to be true. This is the 7th round pick we are watching here, and he's leading this team. The decision making is so quick. His accuracy is really good. Fair enough, he doesn't have a deep ball, but you don't have to when you're getting all these yards. Yeah, I mean,
you can deal with it when we're a team built around Yak.
Exactly. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays. I really hope he stays fit. We've all seen last night. Last night. Yeah. Anything can happen. Aaron Rodgers, 4 snaps, and then that's it.
Done.
He's probably never going to play again, to be honest.
There's a good chance of that, realistically. Let's be honest. That's a nasty injury to come back from at his age. It's a nasty injury when you're 20.
Yeah.
So it'll take some doing. It'll all be dependent on, can New York keep that roster together for the next 2 years? Because realistically, he's not going to be great next year. He'll be coming back from a nasty injury. It'll be the year after that, to be honest, I think, before they're contenders again.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see anything with Purdy that had you concerned at all?
Not particularly. I was really happy with him. I mean, it's his first game back after surgery. I was expecting him to be a bit rusty. I was expecting him to be worse than what he was. And he just wasn't. Like you said, ever since he came into that game against Miami, when we were sat there in the gold mine, we were all there. It's like, okay, this is over, whatever. And from that moment, I've been waiting, like you said, for that bubble to burst.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. So the kid keeps surprising everyone. I think maybe I need to have a bit more faith in them. Like I should have had more faith in the results for the game itself. But he looks fantastic. He really does. And this is week 1 for him. Give him a few weeks, give him a few months of heavy, intense training, constant with the ones, building up that rapport once again. He should only be better.
Yeah. I mean, he will. He's going to progress all the way through the season. It might come to next season he regresses, but I think because he's only had the 6 games last season, the 5 regular season games, 3 playoff games. I think talk of regression in year 2 this season, I think it's a bit premature. You'd expect that from a rookie who started from day 1 last season. So I think he's still got that little bit luxury of being a slight unknown. because we don't know we don't know quite what he's going to do, how he's going to react to certain situations, and I think defensive coordinators are going to find that a little bit tough to start with. I've got to say, I'm a little bit worried about the next game. As we said on the pod last night, McKivitz didn't have a great game, but he was going up against a 3 times All-Pro player.
Exactly.
He only allowed 5 pressures against the 3 times All-Pro defensive end.
That's not horrific, and he did spend a lot of that game on his own against TJ Watt. He didn't have a huge amount of help. So
going up against TJ Watt and then going up against Aaron Donald, what I saw from McKivitz was he looked quite weak. He was easily pushed aside. Donald's not going to have any problem pushing him aside. He's a big lad, Aaron Donald. So it's going to be interesting. I would expect us to put one of the tight ends over on that right-hand side, help him out a little bit to stop anybody getting round, stop Aaron Donald getting round. But if we can get past that game and hopefully injury-free again, then we've got a couple of games where we can start building up that bit of momentum. Purdy can feel a little bit more comfortable in there. Hopefully by game 3, we put up a 50 burger on the Giants, because that's one of the predictions I've put in. And I'm going to be at that game, so that would be nice.
that's it.
But yeah, let's all wait with a bated breath and see how Purdy progresses.
It's been a lot of fun seeing him since day one. I think we're all still a little bit in dreamland that we've got a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback who is, frankly, setting the league alight. I mean, like they said in the film Draft Day, if every team isn't ripping up the way in which they scout, the way in which they look at quarterbacks, why aren't they? Because all 32 teams got this wrong. Not it's not just the other teams. We got this wrong as well because we drafted him in the 7th round. He should have been a lot higher, but it is what it is. We got him. He's a Niner. And so we managed to show it down Patrick Peterson's throat, which is nice.
It was very nice. So we've got Tom Bycroft who's asking, where would you recommend getting a jersey from? He's from Doncaster, which I'm very sorry about, Tom. I used to work in Doncaster, just along by the lakeside. Spent a couple of years down there, so I know Doncaster reasonably okay. Where would we recommend getting a jersey from? Where's the best place in the UK? If you're actually looking for his shop, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I would shop online. I've got to say the last 2 jerseys I've ordered have both been from China. Ordered at the start of May, and I'm still waiting for them. And the worst thing about that is I ordered Sammy Womack, 2 of them, number 26.
I remember.
And now he's changed his number to 0. So don't take my advice, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments there who would quite happily point you in one direction or another. If you want a legitimate jersey, then obviously it's going to be the NFL shop or Fanatics, which is exactly the same thing. But what I would say is shop between the 3 different sites. So NFL Europe, NFL Shop Europe, NFL Shop, the US site, Fanatics International, all 3 of them, in fact, Fanatics US, all 4 of them have different offers on at different times.
49ershop.com as well.
Yeah, and 49ers shop. Yeah, 5.
They'll all be different.
Yeah, so they might be offering different types of discounts. It might be free shipping. It might be 30% off. Go to all 3 of them and have a look. See what the prices are, what the offers are before you buy it. If you don't mind wearing a hooky t-shirt, a hooky jersey, DHgate. Go to DHgate. I mean, it's only going to cost you 15, 20 quid. It might take 3 years to turn up, but it's kind of value for money.
They really are. I mean, I will say, man, there is one shop I know of in the UK that is, they get a lot of good press from people that shop with them. Victory Sports. They're down in Southampton. Yeah. They've got they've got presence on Facebook. I believe they've got their own website. They're worth taking a look into as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got Tonya from California. Hey there, Tonya. Hey, so it must be midday. Yeah, it's 12:15 over in California at the moment. This time next week, in fact, no, tomorrow next week. So 8 days' time, I'll be in California for the Giants game. Whistle stop too, flying in on the Wednesday and flying back home on the Saturday. The only reason I'm going out there is because it's actually my 50th birthday on the Giants game. And there was nothing else I really wanted for my birthday. I don't do parties. I'm too old for parties, and I don't like I don't like being made a fuss of. So I just said to the wife, "Look, tell you what, I'm going to hop on a flight,
Bugger off for 3 days.
yeah, go up to San Jose, watch the game, and then come back again." So yeah, I'll be in California next week, and by the looks of it, the temperature is going to be reasonably okay. It's not going to be too hot. Highs of 22 and lows of, I think, 15 for game day. So I think that's absolutely spot on. That's t-shirt and shorts for me.
Yeah, it's not socks on hands weather. That's a bonus.
No, definitely not socks on hands weather. And anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, that was Stanford last November when me, Nick, David Betteridge, David Ellicott, we were over there. We'd been to watch the San Jose Spartans Hawaii Rainbow Warriors game on the Saturday lunchtime, and then popped up to Stanford to watch Stanford against BYU.
Yeah.
The change in temperature, so it was about 24 degrees in San Jose when we were watching that game. And
it was nice in the sun.
It was hot.
It was cold. It was cold in the shade, even in San Jose. When we got to Palo Alto, my God, that temperature dropped.
Absolutely Baltic. So yeah, we all ended up going into the store, buying thermals, anything we could. I ended up buying myself a pair of longer socks than what I had because I had sports socks on. Went and got changed in the restrooms, came out and actually had my sports socks on my hands as gloves. It was that cold.
I nearly buckled, honestly. I managed to hold off until the end of the game to put my socks on. But I do remember being in the train station in Palo Alto, sat down, right, then just put them on top. Don't care. It's too cold.
Yeah. Oh, it was unbelievable. Couldn't believe how much I was shivering.
I couldn't walk.
I think I ended up with cramp in my back because I was shivering that much.
I had to sit down because honestly, I was just done. My body was like, "No, I'm not giving you any more energy to waste on shivering. That's it. No, you go sit down." And then of course that just made it worse. It was colder. It was me and Dave just sat there, just dying in the seat quite slowly.
Hang on, I need to find out whether or not Luke is yanking our chain here. Let me quickly go on to NFL.com. Is this right, Luke? Are you straight?
This will kill me. This is real. Right.
There's nothing on there. I think.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like you anymore, Luke.
Yeah.
I would cry if that was real. I'd seen a couple of rumors that potentially the Jets were floating around a third for Darnold. I'm not sure they'd come back for Darnold.
Yeah, he's joking.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't have put it past him, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking. Would Salah go over and try and get Trey Lance?
I mean, there's the potential, but then if the Niners have moved on from him, Salah would know why they had moved on from him as well. So,
well, it's debatable why they moved on from him. I think the only reason they moved on from him is because they had that much confidence in Purdy, not because he was a particularly bad player. I am still convinced that given the reps, Trey Lance will be a good player. He just needs to be given that opportunity to play. And to be honest, I know this isn't the show that you do bold predictions on. That's our show over at on the podcast on a Monday night. But if the Giants hit a bit of a skiddy patch through the middle of the season, I can well see Jerry Jones insisting that Dak Prescott is benched and put Trey Lance in.
Oh.
Because he's that kind of a crazy person, is our Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's bonkers. Let's be honest. He's two sheets to the wind. He's gone. It still amazes me that he actually keeps himself as the GM.
Yeah.
But,
that's right. I've just seen what Lucas said. So when we read that tweet and we completely missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the joke.
No. Yeah, straight over our heads. Straight over. So, you know what? I'm sat here and I'm kind of hoping that I might get a little bit breaking news. And the breaking news is about our official watch party against the Browns in October.
That would be fun.
So it's getting there. It's getting there. I've getting some interesting news of something that we might be getting at that watch party, but I can't break that one yet. I can't
Oh,
break that one. So I've been
tantalising.
given a hint of what it is, but I can't say anything.
You're dying. You can see it in your face. You're dying to say.
If it turns out to be, so I've asked a question about, I've responded to ask a question because if they go down a certain route with a design of something, then it's not going to be well received. I don't think it's certainly not going to be well received by me. It might not be well received by other people. But if they go down the route, I hope they go down, and it's something that I sent across back at the start of August, I think there's going to be a lot of happy people at the watch party. That's all. That's about all I can say at the moment. You know what? It's one of the hardest things that me and Paul have, because we always liaison with the 49ers. It's trying to let people know as much as possible without crossing that line where you've told them too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know how it comes across, and it comes across as teasing all the time.
Tease, yeah.
But it's just so frustrating at times, because I think so. Last year when we had the very first official watch party, me and Paul had known for like 4 months, and we couldn't say anything, and we kept on saying, "Look, you really need to get this out there. 8 weeks. 8 weeks this year is your deadline, because people need to get hotels and trains booked, stuff like that." And obviously there was a third party involved at the time, and it just kept on getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. And then I think it was 2 weeks, maximum of 2 weeks before the actual watch party that we were allowed to tell you. And obviously the response we got was exactly the response we were expecting, with people only having 2 weeks notice. And obviously we fed that back, and they saw that. But yeah, it's frustrating to us as well, because we try and get that information out there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, you guys have done great in getting that information out to us. At least we know it's London. We're stop swearing in the comments, Alec. It's he who shall not be named. That's how it is. Deal with it. Hate that man. The man in the comments, not so much Alec, although he's getting close, dangerously close with these things, sending me gifs of that game. Honestly, I was up in 504, nearly tears by the end of that game. But no, you guys, like I say, you guys have done a great job of getting this out for us. We're somewhat scattered around London from the posts we're seeing in the group, but heck, we're there. You know, we'll all be there. We'll all enjoy the game, and the Browns are looking a little bit more resurgent than I think people expected. They had a tidy result, so it looks like that'll be a bit more of a game for us.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, they've lost the starting right tackle. That was a huge loss for them. I think the Browns have always had a good roster. It's just that they've never had that team spirit, gelling as a team. They've never had the coach to go with that roster. And the one time they did play well, they ended up getting rid of the coach because he was only interim, and they didn't give him the job. It's the most Browns thing ever, isn't it? You have something that's working, but because he's an interim and you want to go out for somebody else, you just get rid of something that's working. Yeah,
it's mental. Well, actually, the Browns situation at right tackle was actually one I wanted to bring up with you on the show, because a lot of people are now starting to say about upgrading McKivitz because of the struggles that he's had. Now, given Jack Conklin has gone down for the year, the Browns are going to be in the market for a right tackle heavily, far more than what we would be, which means any right tackle is surely only going to increase their demands, because they know how desperate the Browns are. It looks like a tidy team that could do something. Now, you're going to have to pay us if we want us to come now. So what were your thoughts on potentially upgrading McKivitz because of his performance?
No, I think it's far too early. Like I said, last night was his very first game at right tackle. He came up against a 3 times All-Pro defensive end, 1 year removed from Defensive Player of the Year. I think he'll grow into the role. I think we have the luxury of having that many quality players around him that we can kind of cope. If we come up against a team like the Eagles, which we don't for a long, long time yet, then that might be a problem. People are talking about Aaron Donald on Sunday night. I think that's slightly different, because you've got Aaron Donald and you've got really nobody else there. He normally plays more over the guard, over Spencer Burford. However, what I did see on the pod last night is Spencer Burford's performance suffered because of McKivitt's performance, because he kept on feeling as though he had to go over and help him out. I think Spencer Burford didn't have a great game. So the sooner he can get up to speed, the better. And I've got every confidence in our coaching staff that they can get him into a position where he's more than comfortable going up against these people who are all pros.
Good.
So I think it's too early. And I think the $42 million dollar cap space that we've got at the moment, I think that's going to be kept so that it rolls over to next year. Or if needs be, further into the season, we may trade for somebody. It's just that knockout punch to get us over the line. But to be honest, looking at our roster, other than right tackle, I don't think we need anybody, and a right tackle would cost us far too much. So I think we will roll with them, and I think we'll just roll that $42 million over, which will save us next season from having to get rid of anybody.
Well, this is it. I mean, you've got Ayuk coming up for his new contract, and on his performance on the weekend, he was outstanding. There's been a lot of a lot of predictions already that CMC might win league MVP.
Yeah.
But, save a thought for Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he had a fabulous game. I mean, he scores 2 touchdowns. CMC doesn't have a touchdown if Ayuk doesn't make that block. Yeah. I know it still needs Ray after, but if you don't make the first block, he's not getting past there. So Ayuk was just incredible. Absolutely. I thought he outshone everyone.
Yeah, so I mean, Ayuk's been waiting to step up into that true number one receiver role for a while now. Everybody's been concentrating on Debo, and I think I said at the start of last season, maybe even the end of the season before, I thought Ayuk was the better receiver between him and Debo. Yeah. Debo is more of a utility knife. He can do it all. He can do different things. But as a receiver, a pure receiver, I think Ayuk is our number one on the team.
He's fantastic.
I think he's going to have a really good year. Really, really good year.
When you start to look at some of these contracts now in the next 12 months, once they sign through, you're going to see a lot of Niners amongst the top end of the paying charts at their positions, and rightly so. So these players have performed, but they're going to move on eventually.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. So we're going to have to make decisions, and I think having that $42 million that we've got at the moment carried across, that'll make the decisions really easy, because technically we shouldn't really have to get rid of anybody. I think that 42 would cover the deficit, which I think is 25 million, plus signing the draft picks and any free agents that we have. So I think we're in a good position at the moment, and I think it's too early to pull the trigger. I mean, we've only just gone through game 1. If the trigger's going to be pulled, I think it's going to be between weeks 6 and 8. Obviously, week 8 it's going to be the
just
trade
coming
deadline.
into Yeah, it sounds about right, in fairness. I mean, keep yourself with some insurance just in case someone gets hurt, or if someone is having a particularly bad year and someone does happen to become available because a team starts to tank because they're not having the season they want. You never know what's going to happen. So it's nice they're keeping their options open. I was shocked to see how much space they'd opened up in the space of, 24 hours? They restructured Trent Williams, George Kittle, and Arik Armstead. 24 hours, 42 million suddenly comes out of thin air. Porrick's a magician.
He is. I mean, it does worry me at times because of the amount of void years that ends up being on players' contracts. But obviously, I mean, if we go on and win the Super Bowl this year, there's a very good chance that Trent Williams is going to retire. So we'll claw some of that money back. If we trade somebody, we'll start to claw some of that money back. So I think he's doing it in the best possible way, bending everything he possibly can to make best use of the cap space we have. So sorry, I'm just getting distracted there because I want to just share something. So I've got the comment on the screen. Ty Olsen, great to see you as well, Ty. It would be good to see you on the Goldmine game. So Ty's going to be in the Goldmine with us in November at the Bucks game. And something I forgot last night on the podcast was to thank Ty for sharing our flag. Repping our flag. So here we go.
Game 1, the flag was there.
There we go. Game 1, Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And we already have our flag in the stadium. Absolutely fantastic, Ty. Thank you very much.
Happy day. That is awesome, mate. Yeah, I would say if anyone is going to be obviously out for the Rams game, please let us know. Get those picks in with that faithful flag. That'd be awesome if we can get one there at every game.
It would be. It would be absolutely fantabulous. See, I nearly did it again. Because if Paul's watching this, he's going to be marking this down. He's going to be saying, Najee, put that one against Lee there. He said it again. And I didn't say it last night either. I said Fanta. I stopped myself. So this is a little friendly competition, me and Paul. It is, isn't it? It's only a half.
It's a half.
It's a friendly competition me and Paul's got on, because Paul always says it's well documented. And I always say a different word, which I'm not going to say it. Nick's going to say it for you, so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Exactly. So I've got the reputation for saying that. Paul's got the reputation for saying well documented. So we're kind of having a competition over the year, see who says their kind of catchphrase the most. 49ers.
What's the prize for losing?
Well, we haven't worked that one out yet. We'll have to work out some sort of forfeit.
I think so. I don't think it could be anything as mean as like wearing a Seahawks jersey for 24 hours, though, or a Dallas jersey. I couldn't do that to anyone.
See, Seahawks jersey wouldn't bother us. A Dallas jersey would bother us. A Rams jersey would kill us.
Skin slowly burning away underneath.
Yeah, I would not wear a Rams jersey.
Well, the thing is, let's be honest. There isn't anyone in LA that wears Rams jerseys. So we all know that it's Levi South. It's owned by SoFi, which is, well, I say named after SoFi, which is a San Francisco company, and the place is red when we visit. So
yeah, always.
It's ours. Deal with it. I mean, heck, they even changed their hashtag because of us taking over their home. I mean, it's ours. Let's be honest. So we've gone through the offense. Let's have a little chat through the defense then. I think, to be honest, there's only one place we can really start, and I think it's Fred Warner.
I think all the linebackers were excellent. Excellent. They look a formidable trio. How people are going to get past them, I don't know. Fred, Drake Greenlaw looked at an all-pro level. Oren Burks, I thought, played really, really well. Mm-hmm. And I think it helps when you've got such a good defensive line as well in front of you, because it allows them that little bit more time to make the decisions or just pick up on things and basically hunt people down. Fred could have had 2 interceptions, which I pointed out to Najee, because Najee always likes to point out when Sammy Womack doesn't have a particularly good game. But it's first game of the season, and I just thought defensively they actually surprised us. I knew we were good. I knew we were better than good. I knew we were excellent. But then I saw them on Sunday night, and I thought, wow.
They were spectacular.
I was actually expecting a little bit of a drop-off, and it didn't come. I was just so happy about that. I
mean, the only thing negative I have are tiny little pernickety things, like how close to the edge Drake Greenlaw plays sometimes. You had that tackle, which, to be honest, the one around the neck, if they'd thrown a flag, we couldn't have complained.
Yeah.
But I think he's one of those players that if you stop him from playing close to the edge, you take away who Drake Greenlaw is. You know, he's not the same player, and the fact that he does what he does allows Fred to go and do what he likes to do. So they mesh very well.
So I think we've got a couple of those players on either side of the ball. So Drake Greenlaw, you can kind of count on him for at least one penalty a game by doing something that he shouldn't really, a little bit unsportsmanlike conduct. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you've got Jordan Jennings, who just likes to wind people up. He's my type of player. He's like the Robbie Savage of the NFL. He really wants to get under your skin and wind you up so much that you come out swinging for him. And I love that. I do. I love it. I think it's showmanship on the field. And when you've got somebody like that on both sides of the ball, you know you're just going to be chipping away at them. Really, really annoying. And it's going to end up you getting more penalties than what they are. And I just love that. Love it.
This is it. It's a lot of fun. And then, as I said, the only other pernickety thing I had was Lenore's flags on that final drive in the first half. He has got this horrible habit of coming up with flags at the perfectly wrong time.
I didn't agree with the second flag. I didn't agree with it. The illegal contact. He was within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. If you go back and watch it, he was within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and that was definitely shouldn't have been thrown as a flag. The one out of bounds, yeah. Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, I was like, okay, his first game of the season, you've nailed him. You've done what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now just hold back a little bit, please.
Yeah.
It was kind of reminiscent of Adrian Colbert, because he had a habit of doing those massive hits that just really weren't needed.
I could try and defend him on that one and say, you know what, he was already off the ground moving towards the play, but no, you just can't do that. He had time to pull out of that.
He knew.
But yeah, that second penalty, the illegal contract, that was just bullshit.
Fair enough. There you go. NFL, change it. Now, El Presidente has spoken. Deal with it. I'd say the other one I wanted to talk about as well, particularly with defense, because TJ Watt got a lot of love. I won't use the words that I used with how they were describing TJ Watt on Twitter the other night, because I think we might get a flag. But I thought that I was more pissed off, to be honest, that they weren't using the same words to talk about Drake Jackson. Drake went and did the same thing. He went out, he got his 3 sacks. He had an epic game. He had the start to the season that we all wanted for him. He took full advantage of all eyes being on Nick Bosa and then looking in towards the middle, towards Hargrave, towards Armstead. They forgot Drake Jackson and he demolished them for it. What did you think of Drake there?
Well, I was over the moon to see him play like that. Not to blow my own trumpet, but I did mention earlier on in the season, just after we got Yvonne Hargrave, I thought it was going to be excellent for Drake Jackson with Nick Bosa on the edge, Hargrave, Armstead in the middle. It's taken up all these double teams. There's nobody left to stop Drake Jackson. And you can guarantee what will happen next is we'll come up against the LA Rams. They'll have watched the game, thought, all right, we need to stop Drake Jackson. And then all of a sudden, all the pressure's coming through the middle. And you're going to have Armstead and Hargrave beating up on Matt Stafford. So I think the way we set up, it is a pick your poison, stop one of us. You're not going to stop us all. You decide which one you're going to stop us on this particular player. One of us will get to your quarterback. It's as simple as that. And it's good to see him step up because we had such high hopes for him last season and he was kind of used in a limited capacity. But that's because we had veterans who were a lot more experienced. Obviously, that's why they're veterans. And it kind of let them slowly move into the game, get the speed of the NFL game, become accustomed to it. And I think it's a good way to do that because we can do that with all of our rookies now because we don't draft to draft starters. Not for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounded ridiculous. We do draft to draft starters, hoping that there will be starters.
In the future starters.
Yeah. We don't need them to start straight away. So we can let them sit and learn and get up to speed in practice and then through pre-seasons games and then slowly integrate them into the NFL. And I think that's better for us as a long-term approach with the roster going forward.
This is it. I mean, you like I say, you can name the player pretty much anywhere on defense. They were absolutely fantastic. I think Kinlaw had a good game, eating up those double teams in the middle when he was coming on to replace Hargrave or Armstead in the middle. I think he was actually on Fred's first massive hit where he just absolutely leveled. I think he leveled Najee Harris. And if you look in the middle, it was Nicholas McGee that actually pointed it out. I didn't see it myself at first, but if you look in the middle in that play, you've got 2 players coming straight in on Kinlaw. And he tosses the first one. Now, go away. What are you doing? Who do you think you are? Just gone. And then get through the second one. He's almost through a double team to finish that play off, which kicks Najee Harris outside straight into Fred's gap. And Fred's like, thank you. Let's level you here. And it ended up, they had what 1 yard on offense.
Yeah.
Up until that final drive, 1 yard against San Francisco's 199. I mean, that's pathetic, really, from any offense in the league. I wouldn't expect that from the 2016 Browns.
Yeah, I mean, You're right, and it's so surprising because of, like I said, how many people have tipped the Steelers to do really well this season, and based off what you saw from them in pre-season as well. It just seems as though they were very disjointed. The funny thing is, Gareth mentioned it on the show on Thursday night, Friday night, that San Francisco always start slow, and I disagreed. I didn't think we do start slow. I think the last 2 seasons we've had up and down seasons, but I don't necessarily think we start slow. Whereas the Steelers over the last 2 seasons have started slow, 1-3 and 1-4, and
True.
it's kind of taken that same approach for them. It looks as though they're going to have a slow start of the season. But that doesn't detract from the fact that we were just absolutely immense on both sides of the ball. And we could have come up against anybody last night. And I think we'd have held our own at least and probably dominated most teams. I think when you have a look at the Cowboys' defense, what they did against the Giants, that was quite impressive. If you forget that it was the Giants that did it against.
I don't know. I don't think the Giants are as bad as a lot of people are saying. They've tooled up, and Daniel Jones seems to have made a little bit of a jump last year. Obviously, I think they made the playoffs last year, didn't they, as well? So I don't think they're too bad, but
Yeah.
they're not contenders, not genuine contenders for anything.
Yeah.
You know, get on.
So Alex Simpson pointing out that punters are people too. You are quite correct, Alec. And I thought Mitch Wishnowski had an absolutely excellent game. I thought some of his punts definitely helped Purdy. So there's a lot of things being said about the defense giving Purdy such a short field. The reason that the defense could give Purdy such a short field is because of some of the punts that went in and kind of pinned them back towards the goal line to begin with, and which obviously made it a little bit easier for the defense, because the Steelers' offense didn't really have much room to maneuver about and try and get out of that, try and get out of their own red zone. So yeah, I thought he was good. Hopefully he'll continue. I know Najee likes to remind me that I wasn't particularly happy that we used I think it was a 5th round pick on Wishnowski.
It was.
Yeah. And even though I said, you know what, I think he's a good player, it's just that I'm just one of these that do not like to see picks wasted on kickers. But it is what it is. He's playing well.
He's not done too badly. I mean, he had a couple of shoddy games last year. He certainly increased his leg strength, because you can see now this in the game on the weekend, he was actually getting those kickoffs into the end zone. I mean, obviously they were saving Moody. They didn't want Moody going to kick too long. They left him just for the place kicks for points. That's fair enough, coming off the injury that he's had. But he has actually, you can see he's worked on it. You know, he's a good 10, 15 yards further with those balls. I mean, he was hitting, in some cases, the 10-yard line last year when he was filling in for Robbie during some of his strains. So he's worked very hard. I was worried at one point when he walked off the field a little gimpy. Like, are we going to lose our punter? But it turned out to be no worry at all. He was back on next play. Happy days. So yeah, it's nice to see the lad doing well. You know, yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind using draft picks on kickers or punters. At the end of the day, if they're the pay you need, pick them. Yeah, that's what you need. Go for it. It's either that or you're going to go spend a fortune in free agency.
Yeah, definitely. So, luckily enough, Paul had set up a ticker that we should have used earlier when we were talking about Purdy. I won't bother using that now. I'll go back to the comments now that I've realised that was the only one he'd set up. I think it's so you just use as catchphrase, feeling Purdy good, baby.
You can't blame him for it. He did look pretty good last night.
He did.
Sunday
He did. So Luke's mentioned Demo. I thought Demo was excellent as well. He played really well. I can't really fault anybody other than McKivitz. And I'm not really faulting McKivitz because I understand that it was his first game. He was the only... Him and Burford. Burford looked poor, and I think Burford was poor because McKivitz was poor. When McGlinchey was there last year, Burford seemed to have solid games, and it's because there wasn't that much more expected of him. But I think he's now being expected to help out as well. So other than the right-hand side of the O-line, which we all know because we're all 49ers fans, we all watched it. I mean, I'm telling you all how to suck eggs here, but yeah, the right-hand side of the O-line, am I worried about it? No, I think we can get better. Demo, I think Demo is probably going to be our best cornerback this year. I think he's going to be the best cornerback. He ended last season as the best cornerback for us. I truly believe that. Isaiah Oliver, so he actually had a decent game on Sunday night. I've been quite vocal about my disgust in the signing of Isaiah Oliver. Not only because I was kind of hoping Sammy Womack was going to get the nickel spot, but also because he was absolutely pants in pre-season.
He was awful.
Stunk the place out. But I think it was Gareth. I can't remember if it was Gareth or Paul. Somebody turned around and said, maybe he's one of these players who just doesn't play up in practice. They just do it in the game. They don't really give 100%. If that's the case, then I think he's in for a shock being part of one of Kyle Shanahan's rosters, because I know Kyle's not going to stand for that. He'll expect exactly the same effort in practice as what you get in the games. But yeah, he stepped up and he played well. But yeah, back to what Luke was saying. Yeah, I thought Demo was really good. And it pains me to say it because he's an Oregon Duck. And I'm sure Najee will hear this. If he's not watching tonight, somebody will say, Lee's been praising an Oregon Ducks player. So keep it. It's not
fun. It's fine because it's still, well, let's be honest, one of the best players on the field was still a Stanford Cardinal. So it's all good. You can have a decent half when you've got the best player on the roster, still a Cardinal. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Fair play. I mean, it seemed to be indicative of one of those games that the players were having fun in that second half more than anything. And nothing made that more evident than Huff's rugby pass to Gibson.
Yeah. I was so disappointed. Surely he knew that was going forward.
It was miles forward.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those. It was the right idea. Really good idea. Just the execution lacked a little bit. I think now that they've done it once, they might think about practicing that a little bit. But yeah, as soon as it went, I turned around straight away. That was a forward pass. That's coming
way
back.
Forward. It was way forward. We all knew it.
So what did surprise us is they didn't take it back to the point where he caught the ball, which is what I thought they'd do. So the penalty was called from the point of where he made the forward pass. So it was, I think it was only 5 yards, wasn't it? So 5 yards from so 5 yards from the point where he actually made the lateral, or it wasn't a lateral because if it was forward pass, and that's where they put the penalty. I was expecting to go on another 15, 20 yards back, so I was happy about that.
True. I mean, you can guarantee the old England captain and coach Martin Johnson, obviously known as being a 49ers fan. I hate the man, played for England. Of course, I don't like the man. I'm a Welsh rugby fan.
Yeah.
But he actually spent time with the Niners back in the day doing a bit of coaching on tackling.
Yeah,
and you can guarantee he will have been screaming at the TV over that. Now, I dare say Martin Johnson has already reached out to have a little, to offer some of his skills. I've done the same. I've already tweeted John Lynch and said, look, I'm available. I'm cheap. All you need to get me is an Airbnb and food and I'll be fine. I'm happy to spend the summer and the winter and autumn in Santa Clara teaching them how to pass the ball like a rugby player. Be all good.
Yeah. So the Oregon Ducks, I don't hate the Oregon Ducks. In fact, I used to like them just because of the jazzy uniforms. But obviously, I'm a Stanford fan, and because Najee's an Oregon Ducks fan. They both play in the Pac-12. Najee always has a go at me about Stanford. I have a go at him about the Oregon Ducks. And it's getting to the point where when we do our mock draft simulator every January, February, March, because I start quite early, I never ever pick an Oregon Ducks player. Although, to tell you the truth, the year Demo went in the draft, I was picking Demo. So, yeah. But I don't tell Najee that either. I hide all this from his dirty little secret.
No one say nothing. No one say nothing. Let's let that one go. Nah, it's all good. Out of curiosity though, because I know obviously Stanford have gone and they're joining the ACC as of 2024. Where are Oregon? Where are the Ducks going? Are they ACC or are they heading elsewhere?
No, didn't they go to the Big Ten?
Ah, that's a shame. Rivalry over, sort of.
Yeah,
unless they play out of conference.
There's two teams left. I think it's Oregon State and Washington State. I think they are going to go to the AAC, the American Atlantic Conference. They're going to end up in that conference. I think that's the same conference as what San Jose State Spartans plays in.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that. Somebody might be able to correct us. So they're going to that. I think it was either 4 or 6 of the teams went to the Big Ten, and then Stanford and Cal are the only ones that are going through to the ACC.
Okay, because it's known for being slightly more academically inclined.
Yeah.
Plus,
it's not the American Atlantic Conference; it's the American Alliance Conference. I think it is.
So yeah, I say because they don't just take the football team; it's the entire sporting thing. I think, isn't it? Like the basketball teams, the volleyball teams, the swimming, the golf, everything goes. Or something.
I'm not entirely sure. So
I don't know. Somebody in the comments could let us know.
Yeah, so I would imagine so.
But yeah, fair play. I know you talked about your worries was for the game. I did have one worry.
Yeah.
And that was when Sam Darnold went on the center. And I know he was only taking a knee, but I was still scared he might get intercepted. Honest to God, he's going to mess this up somehow. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. I was concerned.
So you'll have seen that we've tried out Ian Book today. Yeah,
I did not.
All right. So yeah, we've had Ian Book in. He's been trying out a quarterback, former Notre Dame quarterback, and it started the rumor mill going. And start the rumour mill, are we about to trade Sam Darnold to the Jets?
That's where that came about then.
Yeah, now that would be quite the journey for Sam Darnold. He was drafted by the Jets, ended up being traded away by the Jets, and now finds himself being traded back to the Jets.
True.
After the Great Hope went down and snapped 4 of his Jets debut.
True. I mean, the other thing is that first year in California, the Jets paid him more than $10 million to go and play in California as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got paid a lot of money that year from 2 teams.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I've not seen anywhere close to enough of Ian Book to be comfortable having him, because he'd have to then come in as number 3, and then they're going to be promoting Brandon Allen to number 2 if that happens, and I wouldn't be confident in that at all.
No, I wouldn't be, because Brandon Allen didn't particularly look that great in preseason, which is why I'm still surprised that we traded Trey. I understand from a cap perspective. I understand that he's not really going to have the opportunity that he would like. We might be able to take John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan at the word, and they turned around and said, look, we needed to put him in a position to maximise what he wants to do. Obviously, we can't do that at the 49ers now because we've got Brock Purdy and BCB. He is the leader of this team. Yeah. And if that's the case, then yeah, hats off to them. Just wish it hadn't been the Cowboys.
Yeah. I think Steve Young said it perfectly, didn't he, with that tweet?
Yeah.
Never trade to the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what happened last time.
Yeah.
We're praying it doesn't happen again, because that would just be a killer. I couldn't stand 10, 15 years of that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. Yeah, they've been a one-and-done franchise for a very long time. I really hope we haven't just made them good. So, never mind. I mean, did you have any other thoughts then about the game on Sunday, or any things about the Rams next week?
So the game on Sunday, I think, like I said, I think it was just relief that Trey looked healthy, because I did have my doubts whether or not he'd be able to get through a full game without suffering from some sort of fatigue. I mean, at the moment, we don't know whether or not he has. They could be hiding it. First practice tomorrow, so see what happens at practice. See if he's limited with reps. But yeah, he looked good. He looked good from a playing perspective, and he looked good from a health perspective. His decision making was largely good. And when I say largely good, I mean I'm talking in the high 90%. I think there's a couple of times that I thought, oof, I bet you really wish he hadn't done that. Other than that, no, I think we started better than what I was expecting. I thought it'd be a tighter game than what we had, so that was pleasing because we kind of hit the ground running this time. Going into the game against the Rams this weekend, obviously you know how much I hate the Rams. I hate them with a passion. I am a little bit worried though. I'm a little bit worried because they went into Seattle and they turned Seattle over, which even when Seattle are rubbish, it's still not an easy thing to do. They've got this new kid, Nakoa, I think you call him, something like that, wide receiver, plays very much the same as Cooper Kupp. And obviously I think he went off for 119 yards. So they may have found a replacement for Cooper Kupp. Hopefully, because they're going up against us, it's not going to be the same as what they had against the Seahawks. I think I saw a ridiculous stat. The Seahawks only attempted 2 passes over 6 yards deep.
Wow.
Which kind of shocked us a little bit, especially from Geno Smith. But it'd be a crying shame if our unbeaten season came to an end only in week 2 down in Levi South. Yeah. And I don't think it will. I think our first defeat is probably going to come against the Eagles, which is well down the road from now. Even the Bengals. I was a little bit torn with that. I thought it'd be really close. The Bengals didn't particularly look good at the weekend. Yeah, it's week 1. Yeah.
Yeah, they ended up benching Burrows, of course.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got no real concerns. I really hope that once I get out there next Wednesday, that we sat on a 2-0 record, and we're going up against a Giants team that we do really dominate and put a 50 burger on. That'd
be awesome. I want that as much. I want that as much for you. Well, as much as it is for the team and the season, I want that for yourself. There, to be honest, what a way to celebrate your 50th birthday and a 50 burger at Levi's. Epic. Happy days.
Well, you know what's going to happen if we don't get a 50 burger from the team. I'm just going to have 50 golden mules.
That sounds like a plan. We tried it last time. We didn't get there, but $20 a drink. But
no. Yeah, 4 drinks, $80. Damn me.
Yeah, they did go down very well, and I have been drinking them on game days since.
Yeah.
But get on. All right, and guys, I think at this point, we're coming up to an hour. We want to say thank you all very, 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 very much for joining us. Of course, this was the first time we've got to go live for a regular season game before. We've only done playoff games, so this is all new ground for us. I want to say thank you to Lee, first of all. Lee, first of all, for coming on. Paul, mate, we miss you. Don't worry, we'll know you're coming back. All right, we look forward to it. Guys, everyone in the chat, thank you all so very, very, very much for joining us this evening. We are 1-0. This is the San Francisco 49ers. We will be the Super Bowl champions. I think at this point, there's only one thing left to say. Go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.